You know, look at this guy. No hands on the steering wheel. Got a bed on the back of his shit. Filming this thing. Like, I swear, some of the shit I see on the freeway, it just cracks me up.
I know it's been a while since we've done a diesel discussions, and I'm here with Steve Darnell. We're running down to California in Swamp Ass, and I thought, what better time to do a little revive of the diesel discussions.
That's all you see on the road right now are diesel trucks. Look at all of them.
Yeah.
Isn't that supposed to be banned in California right now? I see nothing but diesel
everything's
trucks.
banned in California right now, isn't it?
I would say, looking at the road right now, 40% of the vehicles on the road are diesel trucks. There's one right there. There's one right there. There's one. There's another one. 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 And another one. Like, just in my view right now.
All over the place.
So they're out there.
Yeah, they are.
It's not shutting down, I can tell you that. People need to eat.
That's for...
You know, we're going to have to haul... You know, it's funny because in Vegas, when I'm leaving to work, there's probably a couple times a week, I'll see 2 or 3 hog trucks hauling hogs into California.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so they're hauling hogs. And guess what? They're hauling apples and oranges out of California all over the place. Onions. I mean, people don't think about that, but...
Is that a good trade-off? Hogs for onions?
I think if you took oranges, apples, and onions and shoved them in a hog and rotisserie it, that would be good.
That would be good.
That'd be really good.
So tell us a little bit about what we're doing. We got the 57 Chevy on the back here. What are we going to do?
So today we're going to Riverside, California. We're going to FiTech fuel injection. These guys do basically the throttle bodies and intakes. Oh shit, what do we got in the middle of the road here? Oh yeah. Somebody lost, well, it looks like carpet. No big deal. Anyway, that's what happens when you're a big truck driver. You got to really keep an eye on the road. That Prius up there just wrapped it all underneath his shit. Did you know Priuses are the #1 most wrecked car in America?
Really?
Yeah. Yep. And that's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to talk shit about the people that drive them. I'm just saying, for some odd reason, those are the most wrecked car on the planet. So
maybe
anyway,
it's because there's a lot out there. There are a lot of Toyotas.
Yes, there's a lot of Toyotas. There's a lot of Priuses out there. And anyway, we're not going to talk about the Prius people.
No.
Let's get back on to why we're going to California.
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah, we're going down to... So I've got a 57 Chevy that I've had for 15 years. And if you've watched Vegas Rat Rods, you've seen it on there. It's changed a lot over the years because it used to be... well, when I originally found the car, it was a 283. Had a 4-barrel on it. It's a 2-door sedan. The car actually was in Montana, and when I was going to high school in Montana, I remember seeing that car in high school, and the license plate on it said Fonz, and the guy that drove it, his last name was Fonz.
Nice.
So he put it on there, but it kind of looked like Fonz. He used to comb his hair like Fonz and everything. Anyway, we lost track of the car for years, and my buddy John Salter wound up finding this car, and I'm driving by his car lot one day, and I see it way back in the back there. I was like, man, I gotta have that car. So I bought the car, brought it home, got the 283 to run, but the rear main seal was so bad it was just pouring oil out of it. So I was like, well, you know, you can buy a crate motor for under $2,000 back then. So I thought, well, I'll just put a crate 350 in it. And then decided to upgrade it, so I put a camshaft in it, redid the heads on it. Drove it like that for a while. Put a turbo 350 transmission in it. And then I was like, okay, this is boring. So I decided to put a blower on it. So I put a little small Wien supercharger on it. And then I drove the hell out of it for a long time with a blower on it. But it still had all the old drivetrain and everything in it. So after a while, I decided to upgrade the drivetrain and put an LS motor in it. So I put a C4 Corvette drivetrain under it, put power windows in it, electric windshield wiper motor in it, air conditioning. I mean, I spent some time really redoing the car, and it was a nice LS3 4L60 automatic transmission. It made 400 horse. Just a good little driver daily. So then I drove the car for a couple of years like that. It was my daily driver. And then I decided to put a camshaft in it, up the horsepower, blew the 4L60 transmission out of it, put a 4L80 in it, and this is where the chaos started.
Yeah.
So after that, I went into putting a turbo on the LS3, which, you know, anybody knows anything about these LS3s, they're a pretty high compression motor. That's why everybody takes the 5.3s and they boost them, because they don't have the compression that the LS3 does. Well, I didn't care. So we decided to turbocharge it, which I did that on TV. And it ran amazing. Like, too good. Like, it ran really good with that turbo on it. Like a 76 millimeter turbo on it. Made a shit ton of boost. Too much. Well, on these LS3s, they don't have enough ring gap in them for all the boost that you're going to run through them. So basically what happens is the rings touch, and it broke the top of the piston off in two pistons. So tore the motor down, and it's been going on forever. If you watch some of my other YouTube videos, I've been working on this car for a year, probably 6 or 8 months, maybe a year, in between everything else I'm doing. And so anyway, I decided when it was torn down, I talked to a guy named Sergio over at Procharger at PRI. I was at PRI. I'm walking around looking at their Prochargers. I'm like, oh, these are cool. You know, you see them on Street Outlaws on everybody's car and how badass they are, and people are really liking the Prochargers. And I've never put a Procharger on anything really, not like this. So I thought, you know what? I'm gonna try this out. So I talked to Sergio, got a Procharger from him. Well, my setup, the one that he sent me out, which is their kit that they sell kits, so it's easy for you to install. But this one came out of it was for like a early like 2000, 2001 Camaro. So everything bolts right onto that.
Nice.
But on this one, sorry, we're coming off a grade right now into California. My ears are popping like crazy.
Yeah.
So I keep clearing my ears out. People are probably like, what's wrong with you? I keep blowing my nose. But anyway, so there was a lot of little things that we had to do to get it on. And then, you know, we had to relocate my air conditioner and a bunch of stuff. So the car's really taken a long time to do.
To get to this
but
point.
I took the motor down to Merlin Johnson, and you can see Merlin. He's been on Vegas Rat Rods with me. He's a hell of a mechanic. And I took it over to him and I said, look, what do we need to do with this thing and make it, you know, I want to make this thing run good. I want to be able to push a bunch of boost in it and keep it alive. And so anyway, we started looking around for stroker kits, and Manly makes a 415 stroker kit. So we stroked it. It's got the good rods, it's got a good crank in it. It's all ARP head studded now. Everything on this thing should make 1,000 horsepower setup with this Procharger on it.
Did you lower the compression a little bit?
Yes, we dropped the compression, changed the pistons, made it, ring gapped it to where we could actually run some boost through the motor. It's going to be a little loose, but it'll be able to take a lot of boost.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what I'm after, you know, a little bit of, I want to pick it up on the boost end, you know, I want to be able to use that Procharger, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So anyway, it's been a process, and we've got it all together. I'm going to take it down to FiTech. It's their computer, it's their throttle body, their intake, all their wiring. I'm going to let them take it from here and make it run. So I don't know really enough about the computer system on these cars. This is the first time I've actually used everything FiTech in it, and not only am I going down there to get it running, but I want to learn a few things about it too. You know, because I'm not really a savvy computer guy. Obviously, everything that I got is pretty mechanical because I can make it run. But when you got a computer, it makes it tough.
Well, it'll be a fun driver once it's done, huh?
Oh yeah, the car's always been fun to drive. I mean, like I said, it's a C4 Corvette drivetrain basically. It has a 57 Chevy frame under it, but the front and rear are C4 Corvette. And my buddy Rick in Montana, he builds these chassis. He takes C4 Corvettes, parts them out, takes the Dana 44 rear end out of them, puts them in there, and makes them a drivable car.
Nice.
Good brakes. The brakes will throw you through the windshield, you know. So really drivability, and that's kind of where I want to get back with this car, is just drivable.
Yeah.
You know.
So have you always had a love for the 57 Chevys, or?
Always. Yeah. 57 Chevy has always been my favorite. The coolest body style of the 50s to me was a 57 Chevy. It was the peak. Once it went from 55 to 56 was okay, but by the time you got to 57, it was the peak. 58s, didn't really like a 58 that much. The 57 was sexy. It was the Escalade of what we know today. It was the Chevy. Basically, the only way I could just say it is it's a Chevy Tahoe, but it's got the Escalade package on it almost, with the Bel Air.
Yeah.
The Bel Air was so cool, you know? Hey, which way are we going, Dildo?
Keep going straight.
Straight? Straight? Okay. I don't know where we're going, because I'm talking.
You're going to take the 96B to Riverside, east, in about 29 miles.
Stay on the 15? Right here?
Yeah.
All right.
So hold on, where's 90?
You're the.
That's exit 123, and we got to get off at 96B, so we got quite some time.
Okay.
So when you get down to 100, then
Let me know when we get close.
Yeah.
Because I'm visiting right now with my diesel talk.
Yeah.
So
Tell me, I don't know how many years ago it was, but Brett Williams from Industrial, he came down and bought that 57 Chevy from you. That was your dad's, or from your dad, or?
yeah. So
Tell me a little bit about
my dad's always been a 57, and you know he's a 57 guy too. And that's probably where I got it from, is I was just really intrigued by the wing, the rear wing on a 57 Chevy. And the Bel Air package was so cool looking. And my dad always had 57 Chevys, GTOs, cool shit. And so, in about 1988, my dad had bought a 57, black 57 Chevy Bel Air 2-door hardtop. Beautiful car. And it was a stock 283 power glide transmission, stock everything. Well, my dad is kind of an old hot rodder from the 60s, you know. He had a 57 Chevy in high school that was a copper 57 with, you know, like a 409 in it, had a 4-speed. It was cool. It was a hot rod. So he wanted to, you know, stock wasn't cool.
Yeah.
This is when my dad, in 1988, he probably was in his 40s, probably. So he was my age when he got the car, put it that way. So first thing I would do too is like, oh, okay, well, let's pull the motor out and put something cool in. So he put, back then what was really popular was the ZZ4 or the ZZ3 Chevrolet motor that was coming out that made, I don't know, I think they made 350 horse. If you fuel injected them, they made more horsepower. Anyway, put a ZZ3 in it. He put a 4-speed in it. And put a, I want to think it was a Buick or an Oldsmobile rear end in it. That was the big thing back then. Because these Chevy rear ends weren't really strong up. You get up around 350 horsepower, you're going to start breaking the rear end.
Yeah.
So my dad put a different rear end in it, disc brakes all the way around on it, and then the car sat for years, literally for years, 20 years probably. And then he's like, hey, you want to take that car and do some stuff with it? So I took it for a while and I made it, fixed a bunch of little shit on it, and then about that time I got busy doing Vegas rat rods, and I shoved the car in the corner. My dad has a bunch of cars, so we had them all together. It was still his car, it wasn't mine, but he had it shoved in the corner, and neither one of us had really worked on it, thought about it. And then so when we were doing season 1 of Vegas rat rods, I want to think that Dustin from Industrial and maybe Brett were at the shop, and they seen that 57 Chevy sitting back there, and I think Brett and Dustin were like, hey, my dad either had one or he's always wanted one of those, and he asked me if it'd be for sale, and I go, I don't know, it's my dad's car, I could ask him. So I don't remember if Brady came down.
It seems to me that it was a surprise to Brady. Like the Brett and the kids bought it. But we're gonna have to get that story from Brett.
Yeah, I don't remember, but either way, Brett gets the car for Dustin, and Brett put this thing together, and they get the car for Brady. And at that time, I knew Brady. We had some pretty good conversations, but I didn't know him as good as I did later on. But it was really kind of cool because, that car's been in my life since 1988. And then I've seen it, I've been in it, I've drove it. It was my dad's car, and it was really cool to pass that on from a moment with me and my dad to a moment with Brett and his dad, or Shane and all of them. They were all involved in it, but that's cool, and it made me feel good to think that they had the car now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I know that Brady was super excited about this 57 Chevy, and he liked it, and he took it to some car shows, and unfortunately, I don't think he got to the point of what he wanted to do with the car before he passed away, which kind of sucks because I know he had plans for it, and we had talked about it. Actually, me and Brady had a couple of conversations about that car on what he wanted to do, and I was trying to tell him some of the things I've been doing to my cars to make his more drivable.
Yeah.
So he can just get in it, turn the key, and drive it. But that car was fuel injected. It had like a tune port injection off a Corvette, and it had that ZZ3, so the motor ran really good. It was not a bad car. It just needs to be more late models. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, are we going straight? Yeah. Okay.
Now we're trying to talk him into throwing a Duramax or something in there. We'll see if we can make that happen.
Yeah, I mean, they want to put a Duramax in a 57 Chevy, and I kind of talked to Brett about it a little bit, but the problem is with those 57 Chevys is, first of all, you need to go and get a good chassis underneath it, because that old technology, the old A-arms on it, they kind of float around.
Yeah.
You need something that just sits on the road now, right? And then I don't know how much, I don't think the weight is the issue of a Duramax. I think what the problem is the size of the Duramax.
Yeah.
The problem with the 57 Chevy is the engine compartment is not very big. And when you start shoving an intercooler in there and twin turbos and all this shit, it's going to be tough. It's going to be really tough. I'm not saying it can't be done, because you've seen me shove 10 pounds of shit in a 5-pound bag a lot of times. But that will be an issue. The intercooler is going to be one of the biggest issues, because you got to cool that monster. Not only that, but think about the transmission for a minute. Look at this guy. No hands on the steering wheel. Got a bed on the back of his shit, filming this thing. Like,
oh my hell.
I swear, some of the shit I see on the freeway, it just cracks me up. So
anyway, that's the story of this 57 here, and Brady's 57. But let's go ahead and wrap this up so we can get where we're going.
Well, I mean, all in a nutshell, putting a Duramax in the 57 Chevy, it can be done. It's going to be a lot of work.
Yeah.
A lot of customizing. Transmission is going to be an issue with the, you can't put an Allison in it.
Yeah.
You got to cut the whole firewall out and get the bell housing in the firewall.
Yeah.
Your best bet would be a 4L80E behind that Duramax, if you could get it in there. But, and maybe that's a discussion we need to have later and think about putting this thing together, because it would be cool to put it in there.
It'd be controversial.
Oh yeah, for sure. But you know what? What's going on in the world right now? I don't give a shit what I do.
Yeah.
Because what's going on in our world right now, what we do to a 57 Chevy is not going to make a difference at all compared to what's going on. So who gives a shit? I'm going to do it anyway if I want to. But I don't know. Maybe that'll be a different discussion one day, but we'll put it together and maybe make maybe put a Duramax in a 57 Chevy. I mean, I'm not saying it can't be done. I'm sure that people are trying to do it already. But with the support at Industrial and the skills that these guys got over there, I love working when I go do something at Industrial in the shop, I love it, because these guys are not only diesel mechanics, they're fabricators, they're intelligent, they've been through a ton of shit. I mean, these guys are a crew that is a very fun crew to work with. I love going in and working at Industrial, because they know what they're doing.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's great. So anyway, I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe that'll be a project we might have to get into.
We'll have to wait and see, huh?
All it takes is money.
and
Throw
time.
money at it till it works.
Money and time.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, cool. Thanks, Steve. We'll let you guys know how this goes down at FiTech.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll be over there in about 20 minutes from right now. So it'll be fun.
Yeah. All right. We'll see you guys later.
See ya.